thank you all for joining us. With so much on the agenda, again, apologies for going through this so quickly, but we will recover or review our 2024 year with some key stats that we're ready to share out. We're very proud of the work that we've been able to accomplish this year. And additionally, we'll be showing you a view of our strategic plan, which we've been at work on for, oh gosh, the better part of 8 months or so. We're very pleased to have several members of this call here today who've been a part of that process. We're excited to share that out. And then we'll be jumping into an update on our arrivals, and of course, a review of our events, volunteer opportunities, and community shout outs before hopefully having a little time for some questions and answers at the end. But let's go ahead and get started. 2024 was a large year for us in terms of arrivals, in terms of community support, and in really affecting a lot of really positive outcomes. This presentation does not cover all of the you're going to laugh at this. It's very long, but it does not really cover all of the successes that we've been able to enjoy as an agency, or that our clients have enjoyed as a result of the work that we've been able to offer up this year. But this is really meant as just as an overview. And as I mentioned, there'll be more detailed outcome information available to you once we do email this out. But this is just meant to show some of the top level areas where we've been able to make a good impact this year. And so we'll start by jumping into our new clients served. With 3,500 folks served who are new arrivals to our services here in St. Louis and Springfield, we really have been able to impact a lot of lives. And there's some data around family size, average and average age. And I think this is a new high in languages for us, at least it is over the last several years. 81 different language groups served. So when people ask that question, do you have staff members on staff that speak all languages of the clients? No, the answer is no. We rely on interpretation translation services just as much as other organizations do or should. We have a little bit more detail about some of the groups that we've been able to serve in the next slide. Our number of new arrivals in Springfield, as well as those served through our Latino Outreach Initiative and Afghan support program, which continue to welcome newcomers to the community. We also have enjoyed quite a few successes within our immigration services in the year 2024, with 198 green card applications completed and 118 citizenship applications, almost 100 employment authorizations, and 33 family reunifications. This is really important work for us. That's 198 folks who have more stability this year than in 2025 than they did in 2024. And 118 applications and many dozen who actually attained citizenship this year as well. So we're very proud of this, of being able to provide that level of comfort to folks who are seeking some certainty. Within our social work team, we've enjoyed enormous success. It's a very challenging work that our social work team is engaged in, but they've really been able to provide a lot of comprehensive support to, again, more than 200 cases receiving that level of support, and 28 folks served who are victims of trafficking. That's really, really, very proud work that we've been able to engage in, and kudos to the team who've been able to affect those positive outcomes for those clients that we've served. As with many years as of recently, there's been a lot of need, a lot of urgent need rather, that we've been able to meet. And this is through donations, right? Donations to our TAO fund allows us to meet sort of these uncovered expenses that our clients might incur in times of duress. We've been able to deliver $733,000 in emergency assistance to folks, and that was predominantly in the form of rental assistance or utility assistance when folks were having trouble making ends meet, or their costs exceeded maybe what they were provided in the resettlement stipend. Through our various community bazaars and food distribution events, we're able to deliver more than 8,000 boxes of food. And a special shout out here goes to our providers and supporters around that food and the volunteers who help make that possible. That includes LDS, Latter-day Saints, who provided a lot of that food, and of course, Operation Food Search and others, and of course, volunteers who've helped us get that into hands of people who need that food. We did reestablish the command center this year, and that office served or closed again 72 tickets. These are urgent need cases that were brought to the team, and so we're very pleased that we've been able to operationalize that in order to provide those urgent services to clients. An ongoing need that we see, related to that housing assistance, of course, is housing, and we were able to effect a very big win for the organization this year, receiving a donation of 6 buildings in Soulard, a total of 22 units that are very helpful to us, both in being able to provide overflow housing and temporary housing when we are still seeking permanent housing options. And that's primarily the way that we intend to use these properties while managing it for the rest of the units where there are currently tenants. But for the weather, had intended to really get started using that this week, but I know that we'll be putting that to good use here very, very shortly. I'm very, very thankful for this donation, as it really provides a little bit of a pressure release valve for us when it comes to housing. Within our workforce team under our serve pillar, we served 372 individuals with job placements. And not only are we serving those individuals, those refugees and immigrants who are job seeking, but that's working with 132 different employers in the region. Those are predominantly small and medium-sized businesses that are ever in need of staffing solutions. And so we're thankful that we've been able to help them meet those needs with workers who are very committed to building their lives through employment here. And 92% of folks within our matching grant program were self-sufficient after 240 days of arrival. So that's a number that we're very proud of. That outpaces the rest of the network. I think that the average rate was maybe 80%, maybe even less than that. So we're happy to far exceed that amount. The next slide takes us to our discussion on economic development. 27 new loans closed, $88,000 in loans across them. And through our tax services that we're again relaunching, I'll hear more about that soon, we're able to assist more than 1,300 folks with tax preparation last spring. Within language services, which is under our economic development department, we had a very big year for us in terms of translation requests, and very pleased to see these numbers growing, and seeing more organizations consider how they're communicating with those that they serve that might have limited English. And we encourage all organizations to continue to consider that and know that we do have services available to assist. Our education programming, again, saw more than 600 students enrolled in institute classes. And we see a breakdown of folks in various classes that we've been able to offer. And speaking back to that citizenship number, 109 folks who successfully completed their interview and received citizenship this year. Very pleased to see that outcome. Within our youth programs, again, embedded within our education department, 160 teens served through our youth programs this year. That is a new record for us this year, and a special thanks to Catherine Luba and the volunteers and staff who've helped make this possible. And again, another shout out to Operation Food Search for the help with delivering food to youth who are engaged in that program too. Next, I want to highlight a specific program here, and that's our Empower program that we offer here at the International Institute. Here in St. Louis, we've been able to serve more than 250 clients within this program. This is a program that really got rolled out maybe at the end of Q1 this year. So excited to see what we're gonna be able to do with a full slate of funding in 2025. But this is about connecting people to skills and services to grow those skills. And so very excited to have been able to connect folks to computer classes, GED education, and building skills through the Engine platform. This is a program that had been operated statewide by the Missouri Office of Refugee Administration. So they're kind enough to be able to share some of those larger statewide numbers for us. And you see that statewide, there was more than 800 folks enrolled in programming, with, again, more than 250 enrolled here at the International Institute. And the job placements that have been able to be affected by this is really positive, not just for what's happening in St. Louis, but this is really a positive outcome for the entire state. Speaking of statewide, we did engage, of course, in more intensive advocacy this past year. And that led to a few legislative wins we wanted to share, of course, in partnership with ISPN and the Missouri Immigrant Policy Coalition. The International Institute provided written testimony and organized attendance at a local hearing for the House Special Committee on Illegal Immigrant Crimes, where I think as a community, we roundly rejected the premise, and that message was heard. This was work that we anticipate turning around again in 2025. But through this, I think we're able to build a very strong coalition with partner organizations, and really lead the local efforts along with them to combat sort of this negative stereotypes and negative messaging around immigrants. Other wins that we wanted to cite are multiple negative bills around immigrants that popped up in Jeff City this last year. That through advocacy efforts, we were able to speak with legislators who agreed that these would have a deleterious impact, not just on immigrants, but on our region as a whole. And there's just a sampling of them there. And we are looking ahead and seeing the pre-filed bills of this year and working with our partners to get that work revived for 2025. Related to community support, we hosted a large number of biweekly community bazaars in 2024, which also coincided with the delivery of financial literacy classes, and putting phones in the hands of folks in order to stay connected, because we know how important that is, not just for our social lives, but of course, a lot of work is getting done that way too. And staying connected with loved ones abroad is really important to the health and safety of our clients and their families. So we're really happy to be able to do that. Festival of Nations, the support that we've had there again grew again with more than 440 performers and more than 100,000 attendees, and a record number of sponsors and community partners. We're very thankful for the community support of the region's largest multicultural event. Very pleased to be able to offer that. Now, shifting gears a little bit into our strategic plan, this is work that was completed functionally in 2024. So we wanted to align that here. But the strategic plan itself was not just the brainchild of the staff here at the International Institute. This is the result of intensive community conversations, including with, of course, our board members and stakeholder organizations and individuals who are represented on our strategic planning committee. This is a committee that convened through the middle part of the year, soliciting input and points of view that aren't just generated from this internal place by staff, though we did, of course, engage in a lot of SWOT analyses with various departments within the organization. But that was all put into the context of what's happening in the larger community, and getting the perspective of stakeholders is really critical in positioning us and creating a plan that is relevant not just to those whom we serve directly through our programs, but to whom we serve also in the community writ large. Likewise, we're able to survey quite a few clients who were able to bring their voices to this as well. So we really think that we have a plan that is comprehensive of a lot of points of view and is really considerate of the needs that we have as a community and the role that the International Institute can play in meeting those needs. So I can say that jumping into this plan, we will be sharing this more widely on our website in the coming weeks, and there'll be more detail here. But for the purpose of this conversation, we just want to provide sort of an overview of where we landed in these conversations. Of course, the mission of the organization remains the same as it did from the last period. It is our mission to provide opportunities for immigrants and refugees to thrive, because we know that when we do this, we are creating a more welcoming, prosperous, and healthy region for all residents, whether in St. Louis or Springfield or across the state of Missouri. Our work is divided up amongst our strategic pillars, which are a little bit different from the last time around. But in spirit, there's a lot of similarity, I think, that you'll recognize. The first pillar that we want to highlight here is care. And care is really a pillar around service provision and service provision primarily to our clients, but not exclusively to our clients. The goals that we have for our planning for this year is really to do an assessment, an overall over-the-top comprehensive assessment that really is mapping client progress and the support that clients are needing and receiving in order to achieve their dreams, and really enhancing our program and services to better support a wide swath of clients of all ages. We do want to evaluate our impact and the results of these services that we're providing, and really be getting feedback around our service provision. It isn't just about delivering the service and achieving that outcome, but the way people feel as they're engaged in that process is really important to us. We want to make sure that we are implementing solid procedures around client feedback to help create a virtuous cycle of continuous improvement for us as an organization and in our service provision. Under the Amplify pillar, our focus here is really around voices and really elevating the power that immigrants and refugees have in our community to lift their voices in advocacy. The International Institute does not seek to be the voice of all immigrants on all issues. Rather, we seek to empower immigrants and refugees to use their voices to advocate for their communities and their needs. And leveraging the International Institute's position as a respected stakeholder to maybe gain access to platforms and places that they might not be able to have access to on a normal basis. So we really want to foster a strong understanding of immigrants and immigration and how that directly benefits this community that welcomes them. And this is part of the messaging that we want to be able to amplify through the year ahead. We want to nurture our supporters as ambassadors of our work and in our community here, so that our efforts can be multiplied. It isn't just the work of the agency or those that we are impacted, those who are consumers of our services who are impacted by our work. We want to help folks that see the impacts that we're fostering tell that story in various new spaces. Our engage is our next pillar. And this really dives a little bit deeper into how we are engaging with stakeholders and organizations and community leaders to help fulfill our mission. Fostering strong coalitions, supporting those that exist, including the Immigrant Service Provider Network and the Missouri Immigrant Policy Coalition, just to name two, but working together with stakeholders in this space to expand our collective impact. Really creating more opportunities to collaboratively advocate at a community level with these organizations, and again, lifting voices and bringing new voices to those conversations, but also supporting capacity building of other organizations. We know that the more groups that are here advocating for immigrants, the more groups that are here in support of immigrants, the greater impact that we have when we bring new arrivals to this community. And so we want to engage the business community in this because of the obvious business impacts that are created when we do bring new arrivals into our region, and ensure that clients that have quote unquote graduated from our services are also continuing to stay engaged and being advocates for new arrivals and for their communities writ large. Our next pillar is cultivate. This is really around growing the resources of the agency, right? We really want to implement transparent and efficient processes within the organization, improve our financial standing. We obviously have a very strong or very large portion of our budget that is contingent on federal funding, and as ever, we want to make sure that we are improving that matrix to become more durable. And less subject to these sort of political changes that can have an overall impact on the size of our organization. We want to invest in our staff in providing in their well-being and their development by providing professional development opportunities and also supports and benefits that are meeting their needs as various challenges arise for them and our community writ large. But we want to be an attractive employer, right, and a choice employer in the region, and we think we can do that by further cultivating the talent that we have and providing support. And our final pillar is sustain, and this is more about diversifying those funding resources, tailoring our fee structure to be a more sustainable organization, continue to develop earned revenue through programming, and really exercise responsible and transparent fiscal management. This is very much an urgent issue for us. We want to make sure that we're establishing good practices for procurement and other practices that ensure our ability to continue to provide these services well into the next century. In conclusion, we want that by the close of this plan, which will be the end of 2027, that we see the impact of our work evident, not just in the lives of those that we've served, but writ large within the community, and that we've seen this growth and this welcoming is expanded beyond immigrant service providers, but is embedded within civic government, is embedded within our largest employers of the region, who understand that attracting people to the region is really going to be an important area for growth and help us to further retain people and stem the tide of outmigration that's occurring for native-born residents and foreign-born. So, again, more details around this plan will be shared when we post this on our website. But we're really thrilled and think we have a very solid plan in place, thanks to the support and involvement of a lot of community stakeholders and our clients and staff. And I just want to thank everybody again for their time and effort, because I think without it, we would have a much more myopic, narrow view. But I think, as you've seen within this plan, we understand the role that we can play and are very optimistic about our ability to live up to that through this plan period. So I finally get to stop talking, which is a gift to us all. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Esmira to deliver us our resettlement update. Esmira.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're still busy like we used to in previous year in 2024. So in December, we did have like 39 cases of 169 individual for now, and for in January, we will have 38 cases, 120 individuals. Until January 17, we have only arrivals to be scheduled. So it means we will get more arrivals by the end of January. Approximately, I'm counting between 150 and 170 people. Mostly we are seeing people from Venezuela, South Sudan, Somalia, Syria, and Afghanistan. We do see like demographic shift in people who arrival, because previously mostly people from Afghanistan and Syria we resettle in St. Louis, but now we have more people from Venezuela, and also I see increased number of people who are coming from Colombia and Nicaragua too. So in October on 24 and September 25 actually, total arrivals was 1,387. The highest month for arrivals were between July and September. We did resettle 566 people. We are planning this year that we will resettle 1,920 people, including 100 SIV people, SIV clients, and 182 refugee. I have to mention that our arrival schedule changing on daily basis and number of arrivals. We cannot say for sure how many people will arrive. We have to wait a couple of more months and see, are we going to resettle high number as we promised, or our number will go down.
Thank you, Esmira. And yes, we understand it's a dynamic situation. with arrivals right now. But we're happy to see that we have a lot of folks that we're able to serve, now, and that's very important to these folks and their families. So thank you, Esmir, for the continued service of your team and working through this large number of arrivals that appear to we usually don't see this many. This is an indication the federal government is trying to ramp up and get as many folks processed before the change in federal administration as possible. So thank you. And with that, I want to turn it over to Kelly, who I can believe is going to tell us a little bit more about walk-ins.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, in addition to serving our R&P clients, our intake team has seen the following walk-ins for the months of November, December, and January. So they seem to be relatively the same between November and December, with December averaging about 13 individuals, 9 cases from Haitian, Cuban, and Afghan. And then in January, so far, we've only seen 2 individuals, 1 case, which were Cubans. But that definitely changes daily.
Yes, and speaking of daily, on days when we're closed due to weather, obviously we can't accept walk-ins. Of course, we've had a lot of closures due to the holidays as well, which naturally slows down the walk-in numbers in the months of December and January. Thank you very much, Kelly. I do want to kick it over to Carlos for an update on our Latino Outreach Initiative.
Hello, everybody. I just want to give you a quick update, and I want to point out that on the right of this slide is our new flyer for the pivot we're making of recruiting Hispanic Americans and Hispanics with green cards. So far in the program, we brought a total of 415 people. Of course, the majority of those people being adults. While it says 13 families on the waiting list, that unfortunately is not accurate, and that's on me. We have about 150 people on a waiting list that we're trying to get through. And so I think it says 13 because that's who we're trying to bring in January, but it will end up being more than that in January as we try to embark on passing our 500 person goal and getting as close to 600 as possible. In that time, we have filed 82 employment authorization documents. That being said, because of how immigration works, some of our clients who initially apply for asylum, and it's just a timing issue. So we know that we have about 30 to 50 other clients that started with an asylum application, but we know that we will still help them apply for their employment authorization document. So when it's all said and done, we'll probably have closer to 120 EADs that we've applied for, that we've helped people apply for. And the upside is, and this is just a cost savings for us, the fact that we were able to bring so many people that already had their EAD, their work authorization, was great for us because we were able to have people that were ready to hit the workforce as quickly as possible. Whereas when we apply for an employment authorization document or EAD, we have to wait for it to happen for them to get it. And sometimes that takes up to 4 months. And so the fact that we were able to get so many people here with EAD already, that was great for us. And then the other, 82 plus the ones that are waiting, they arrived here either living with family or friends. So we didn't have to necessarily pay for their housing. They were already established. And I think that's important as we talk about not adding to the homelessness issue. So that's been very good on our part. And so as I mentioned, I believe last month as well, we are pivoting because we're anticipating the political climate to maybe not be as open to a humanitarian pro relief program. That's why we are going for the Hispanic Americans and Hispanics with green cards. And so last month I visited El Centro, California, which has the highest unemployment rate in the United States and is about 90% Hispanic. And then later this month, I'll be going to Los Angeles, California. Again, one of the top cities with unemployment rate. And we will also, obviously has a high Hispanic population. Next month, I'm anticipating going to McAllen, Texas. Again, high unemployment rate, high Hispanic population. So obviously that's the trend I'm following. I've done some research to figure out where the highest unemployment rates are in conjunction with the highest Hispanic population. And those are the cities I'll be visiting. Upcoming recruitment will be Yuma, Arizona. And as you see already, California is a big place. California has probably the most cities in the United States that have a high unemployment rate and an extremely high cost of living. So we're hoping that they're not so married to the great weather in California. And I think these wildfires will hopefully add to them, to us recruiting them to St. Louis. And so I'll be going to Yuma, Arizona as well, which also has a high unemployment rate. Other California cities, and then San Juan, Puerto Rico, whereas obviously Puerto Ricans are Hispanics, and so obviously that island is still not fully built up based on the tornadoes and hurricanes, and so we think obviously Puerto Rico will be a good opportunity. So I will likely go to college career fairs and try to recruit the younger professionals to move to St. Louis from Puerto Rico. And so that sums up my report.
Thank you, Carlos. And excited to see you going to my hometown of McAllen, Texas.
Yeah.
I have some things you can drop off for my father when you go.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we'll move on to our update from Moji regarding the Afghan support program.
Thanks, Blake. Well, hi, everybody. Hope you are doing well out there and enjoying the new year. We have been blessed with an extension for our Afghan support program, and it's entering its 4th year now. And so this year we've got a ton of awesome things coming up. I will cover just a few. Overall, the Afghan support program's aim as a whole is to develop the internal Afghan community in St. Louis while simultaneously attracting Afghans from around the country and possibly even outside of the country. Because as you know, St. Louis is a great place to live, and especially for people who are new to the region, to the American region, it's a cost-effective place compared to other metropolitan cities around the country. So with that being said, we are introducing our second Threads of Hope Afghan Women Sewing program later this month. It was supposed to have started on the 10th, but because of the snow, there's some issues with repairs for sewing machines. Regardless of that, we're going to start our second sewing class with basics and advanced sewing classes. So we're really excited about that because last month we had 13 graduates from the sewing program, and 2 of them started their own business. So that's a big win for the Afghan support program. Really, another big news for the Afghan support program is that we have funding now for 10 new grants. And if you had followed the previous years, the grants were at $15,000 for Afghans who newly arrive in St. Louis and would like to start a business. Now those grants are valued at $20,000. So really excited about rolling that out. Applications are opening next week. So if you know Afghans in your network who are new and are entrepreneurial, please have them apply for the grant. So excited to have women winning these and also having women reach out to be applicants. Later this year in September, the Afghan support program, in partnership with the U.S. Afghan Chamber of Commerce, which if you know, you might not, but the Afghan Chamber of Commerce is part of the Afghan support program's initiative, will host a national conference here in St. Louis, attracting Afghan businesses from around the region and also holding a concert as a means to attract everyday people to attend the conference, and hoping that we can really highlight St. Louis around the country, especially for those who are business owners. And then finally, we are traveling around the country as we did in the past couple of years to attract folks to the region. But this time we are doing it by introducing Gateway to a New Life, which is a 15-minute documentary. If you haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend you attend the showing of it at the Ethical Society this Sunday at 8 a.m. and there will be a panel discussion following that. Otherwise, it will be shown at a film festival in Joplin later this month, and we're taking it to Chicago next month and across the country for the rest of the year, hoping that we can show that St. Louis really is making an impact in the life of Afghans who are moving here, and there's a mutual benefit because St. Louis needs folks, and then Afghans need a place they can start their lives over again. If you have any other questions about what we're doing, please feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, thank you, Blake, for that time.
Thank you, Moji. With that, we'll go ahead and pass it along to Carlos Suarez to talk a little bit about what's been going on with our Economic Development Department.
Thanks, Blake. Yeah, I'll just highlight the community bazaar real quick. And, we do have our dates coming up for this February, to launch again in February, starting on the 14th. So this has our dates for the rest of the year. Again, it's a great way to support a small startup immigrant business, selling food, interact with the Institute, and really have a great experience here involving entertainment and some live music performances. So we'll be starting on February 14th, Valentine's Day, another great reason to come out on site here at the International Institute. And of course, utilizing and working with some great partnerships that we have, including the St. Louis metro market that was discussed earlier, and the Church of Latter-day Saints, and distributing food to our kind of staple food items and access to nutritious fresh produce. Also looking for support and sponsors. It's a great way for organizations to partner with us on this great experience for the whole year. So we'll look forward to engaging more of the community on that this year and for the rest of the year. And just a reminder that we do have our free tax preparation services that will launch, or I should say open up for booking starting January 20th, but the services won't begin until February 4th through April 15th on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. This is a partnership with AARP and the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program as a site of that program, specifically open to immigrants, refugees, low-income households and individuals with disabilities. So our line will start to be open on January 20th. And we have a website, a dedicated landing page on our website at iistl.org/taxes for individuals that want to learn more about it, the timing and everything. And also we will have an online booking system for individuals that would like to book an appointment themselves. So that would be a new added feature this year for those that would like to, but we will welcome still over the phone, scheduling over the phone. And for those that prefer to do it in person, we'll have that open as well. So thank you, Blake, and great to see everyone.
Thank you, Carlos. Yeah, this is ramping up a busy time of year for us. We love having everybody come into the building to receive these services, but it creates quite the hump. Exciting to have folks here getting that service. With that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Kelly for our community engagement update.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We are so excited to launch a food pantry after a year or so, maybe even longer, of talks and conversations about having a food pantry. We are doing it this month. Yay! So thank you to Operation Food Search, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and Little Angels Foundation, who has been with us on our food journey for the last few years. We're going to be opening this pantry Monday, January 13th. If you need more information, Maxwell will be ready to answer your questions. We're really excited about this opportunity, and we're really excited. Hopefully January 13th, we won't have any snow. Let's make, hopefully the roads will be clear by then. So we are anticipating a lot of need for volunteers to run this program. So if food pantry work is your thing, or you know somebody who might be interested and available on Mondays, please send them our way. Thank you to those partners. And next slide, please. Volunteers. So as you know, we couldn't do the work that we do without volunteers. and we are always looking for them. So here are our latest needs: grocery shopping, bus training, intake. Those positions have been open for a while. Food pantry support, like I said, that's Mondays afternoon. And then childcare. We are going to be launching a childcare program in the near future. And so we're just putting that out there preemptively. But if you have any questions about that, you can contact myself. Food pantry questions go to Maxwell, and all the other volunteer opportunities can go to Frank. Now for my favorite part of this call, except today has been actually really exciting because we heard so many great news with our annual report and all the great work that we're doing. So we started the call with the great work, and we're going to end the call with the great work, and that's our community shout outs. So thank you to Edward Jones. We had a volunteer day with them. Staff went to their site and built, they weren't shelves, but they were like little mini dressers. So thank you for the hands-on work getting those dressers built, Edward Jones. Thank you very much. Next one. Some of you, as you were walking through West County Mall, maybe you saw these beautiful giving machines that were sponsored by the Church of Latter-day Saints. These giving machines were placed in West County Mall for 3 weeks, the 10th through the 18th, so 8 days, sorry. And people could donate items to the International Institute. So we don't have a full report on what was donated and how much, but we want to shout out the community of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for offering us this opportunity. Last year, I believe we received over $13,000 worth of in-kind goods. Hopefully this year it will be a little more or less, or hopefully it'll be more, but much needed items going to new arrivals. Thank you very much. Next slide. Okay, if you're wondering how you can help, winter items. We're still, winter, even though it's January, it probably, winter in St. Louis can go till February, sometimes March. So if you have new space heaters, blankets or comforters, coats, heavy socks, boots, the drill with winter items. We are collecting those items right now. So here are our QR codes for our wish lists, both at Target and Walmart. If you would like to, maybe they have some clearance items. January is one of the best months to shop because lots of people do those annual sales. So I haven't checked out our list to see what's on sale on it, but if you are a sales shopper, this is the time to buy them. So thanks for helping us. We always appreciate grocery card gift cards, and obviously we appreciate money going to our TAO fund, but we also appreciate your financial support. So if you're able to donate and help us financially, here are the sites to do that. As usual, if you're looking to contact anybody about anything, we have our volunteer support program, Frank Cooper, Catherine Schoberle for our youth programming. Samire Desu is going to be out of town for in-kind donations, but Samson Hillary will be taking his calls. Karen Park, if you're looking for financial donations. Kelly Lara, if you have any housing, if you have apartments that you aren't rented out yet and you want renters, please contact Kelly. And then Caitlin can answer your immigration questions. So once again, thank you so much for your support. We would not be able to do the work without the community. We appreciate you. We're looking forward to a robust year, hopefully for 2025, and wishing you all a happy new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Oh wait. Do we have another? No, that's it. Okay. Well, again, thank you all for joining on this journey today. What we were able to achieve in 2024 was remarkable. even in the scope of what we do, which is make miracles happen every day, just to see the volume of how that stacks up over the course of a year, it really puts things in perspective. The volume of need in this community is immense. Not just, as we're talking amongst those that we might serve directly in the immigrant and refugee community, but the needs that we have as a community as a whole are large, and the challenges that we face are complex. But we know that newcomers to our community bring so much, and we know that this too as our partners on this call. And so we are really thankful for your continued support to enable us to do what we do so well, and partnering with us in supporting those who are new to our community, and being our partners in growing this region. We're really thankful for each and every one of you, and look forward to your continued support in this year ahead and through this plan year that we see in front of us. Two things I want to highlight before we wrap up here. One is we have an upcoming emergency preparedness training. This is for immigrants and refugees. I put the link there in the chat. This is upcoming on January 11th. We're partnering with the Federal Emergency Management Agency to host this event. It is here at the International Institute. The goal of the training is to prepare immigrant communities for adverse events and natural disasters by raising their awareness and connecting them to local emergency management structures. There'll be local folks from emergency response here, as well as statewide providers, and of course FEMA as well. But really it's about helping people understand how they can access resources in times of disaster. This is a free event, but we ask that folks register using the link that I provided. The event is all day on the 11th. It is from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Breakfast and lunch are included, and folks that attend will receive a certificate. We'd appreciate your help in broadcasting this within immigrant communities so folks can learn and share that information with trusted stakeholders that they have. I also want to double back on some questions that were in the chat. Stan, you asked about arrivals and what we're seeing. Nothing has stopped. We're still seeing arrivals continue. We have arrivals scheduled until the 17th, as Mira said, but we expect there to be more arrivals scheduled. And we usually schedule just a couple of weeks out. That's how that works, generally speaking. So we would expect that we'll see arrivals through the end of January, but we have seen a lot of arrivals, more than average in the months of November, December, and now January too. So we're pleased to see that there is sort of this, at least in the short term, this increase in arrivals. Though, of course, we know that could change going forward, but for now, we're still seeing those folks here. Regarding the question from Emily, hi Emily, about the food pantry, this is available for anybody. Anybody in the neighborhood or even not in the neighborhood who needs to access food is welcome to come by our food pantry and access those resources. This is not restricted to refugees or immigrants. This is a neighborhood resource that we're able to provide, and very pleased to be able to do that. So I will open it up and see if there's any additional questions. And from Jean asking, is the Soulard housing mainly for new arrivals, or even those recently arrived clients who are struggling could be eligible to be housed there? The housing that we have, we were reserving a certain part of it under a master lease to be able to use it as temporary housing when we're not able to source housing for new arrivals. Now, other than that, the rest of it is just a regular lease agreement. And we do know that there'll be vacancies upcoming. I think right now, with the exception of the units that we're holding off with the exception of the units that we're holding for new arrivals, the rest of those are available to be rented. And these are functionally below market rate prices at this point. So we're happy to be able to keep the prices affordable still in Soulard. We know it's a really it's a good place to be. There's access to a bus line, and which gets people access to employment. So we're really happy about the location of it. But if you'd like to know more about that, John, we can definitely reconnect offline. Any other questions? Well, seeing none, I will thank you all again for being here. And again, you'll get the information related to our outcomes and strategic plan with the updated email here, and you'll of course be alerted to the posting of the full strategic plan on our site when that is available. But again, thank you all for your continued support and encouragement, Betsy. We really appreciate it. A very happy new year to you all. And thank you for your continued support. We look forward to continuing to collaborate through the rest of this year and beyond. Thank you again, and have a great day.